Welcome to Respec Games, where we respect games. This is King Teliano. This is Polo Bornfly. I'm Polo, that's Tel, and this is Respec Games. The gaming podcast is brought to you every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Central Time. Thank you so much for joining us on Respec Gaming. We got a lot to talk about today. This is episode 6 of Respec Games. Very much so, big shout out to all the new subscribers we have on the YouTube channel, all the new listeners we have on the Spotify. Can't thank you enough for the support you've given us over the time. We're going to talk about that here soon. But Tel, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, bro. I had this game downloaded on my phone for a minute. It's a high-Q game, and I was playing it, and it's enjoyable than a mug, bro. It's crazy. It's so chill. It's just like my typical game I play on my phones often, but a high-Q version of it. And it's kind of crazy how they made this happen.
That's funny. Yeah, that's like that's technically Yo Umo Musume.
It's just like that. It's literally what I was thinking about. But how about you, brother? How you feeling?
Great, man. Great. Encouraged, excited. Loving what we're building here with Respect. I do have a kind of an announcement that goes into my with respect. I want to start off by giving my respect to the Guild Wars 2 community again. Okay, I posted my video on why I'm addicted to Guild Wars 2, which was essentially just for the Respect gaming community, the few listeners we had here on this new journey we started. Again, this is our second podcast. Our first podcast is Mike Check Wife Waifu, the anime podcast, every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CT. But I made a video about why I'm addicted to Guild Wars 2, because for 5 episodes of Respect Gaming, the only game I really was playing was Guild Wars 2. And I guess, so technically it's been 5 weeks of me playing it, but I digress. I guess 4 weeks, because I wasn't playing it the first week. So I digress. But I finally created the video that I've been procrastinating on making on why I'm addicted to Guild Wars 2. And that video ended up doing well, relatively well for our small new gaming channel. It got about over 2,500 views, 50 comments, and like 150 something likes. And it's just nothing but positive comments and nothing but positivity within that video of just me rambling about why I like Guild Wars 2. I'm sure I misspoke on a lot of stuff because I don't know everything there is to know about a game that's been out since 2012. And I'm sure they this guy's fumbling over what's right and what's wrong, but nobody clarified anything. It's just been a community like, yo, welcome to Guild Wars 2. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you enjoying it. So on and so forth. It's just been extremely gracious and kind and welcoming to me in playing this MMO. So shout out to them with respect. They get that respect badge for sure. I do want to say this though, before we move on. Respect Gaming is a gaming podcast with 2 brothers, right? King Teliano over there and me, Polo. We are going to post different content on the channel as well. So if you see content, or if you sub just for the Guild Wars 2 content, there isn't always going to be just Guild Wars 2 content. So, and I understand that that's probably why you sub, was for the Guild Wars 2 content. And we totally appreciate that. With respect, it won't be just Guild Wars 2 content. So whenever you see, we would appreciate if you check out King Teliano's gaming videos and my other video game videos that would eventually go up on this website as well. But if not, and you're only here for the Guild Wars 2 content, I understand if you do want to unsubscribe, because that is what you originally subscribed for. We're just building a community full of gamers that wants to talk about video games with respect. So I just wanted to make sure I get that out there, so everybody don't feel obligated to just subscribe just for the Guild Wars 2. Again, we appreciate it and we love that, but we want to build a natural community that just wants to talk about video games in general with respect. So I do stream on twitch.tv/PoloBornFly sometimes. So if you do want to watch me stream Guild Wars 2, go over there. And I do have a personal YouTube channel that I'm going to start also posting Guild Wars 2 videos over there too. So I'll link that into the description of this video. But again, thank you guys so much for the support. I just wanted to clarify that so you guys know that, when you see a video from Tell, maybe check it out. And again, if you only came here for the Guild Wars 2 content and eventually you may stop seeing Guild Wars 2 content, I understand if you unsubscribe, but we would love to have you here for the long term. So that's my word to Respect.
I would also like to say that as a brother, it's crazy to I saw how well the video was doing. I was very happy. Very happy because I like seeing anything that my brother does and gaining any level of success with it, especially knowing that like sometimes we put something out just because we just put it out. Yeah. Whether it's going to do extremely well or not is completely like it happened. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But when my brother puts out something, I feel I was very happy with the results that he garnered there, and I enjoyed the video as well. And I don't even play the game, but my with Respect is not necessarily in the same magnitude to that, but I was thinking about earlier how I scroll through TikTok every once in a while, and I always see these Kingdom Hearts live streams, and I jump in them, and the people are watching these guys. There's one guy who I was watching. He's playing blindfolded, fighting Sephiroth. There's another guy I was watching just a minute ago, and he's just doing the boss battles and whatnot. And the people in those chats and who are watching, they are the Kingdom Hearts buffs and aficionados that I wish I was. And it's such a cool thing because I remember years ago, back like when I lived in North Carolina, I was trying to refresh my mind on Kingdom Hearts. And it's like, I'm like, man, how do I refresh my mind on Kingdom Hearts? You go on YouTube and people have already made the movie that Kingdom Hearts released in their bundle. They already made it to give you all the details, everything that's ever happened. And I would like to say that the Kingdom Hearts community is like this, and while I know that the game itself has its own caveats and niche of issues, that the lore and the story behind it is so rich and in depth, and for people to nitpick and find every little detail so that they can pull it out and bring it to the forefront and show you the beauty of what Kingdom Hearts is. I really love being a part of that community and just being able to research and pull it up and find anything to correlate with that. Kingdom Hearts has been one of my favorite games of all time for a very long time, and I think I might even be bringing that up later on as we progress through this episode. But yeah, the Kingdom Hearts community, I love and appreciate all the things that y'all do.
Copy that. Let's switch over to Vertical Slice, which is the part of the show where we talk about what we've been playing and any new things, any old things, any things we got planned to play later this week. Tell your Vertical Slice.
So my Vertical Slice, why you laughing, bro?
Because we talked about it yesterday. It's hilarious.
So my Vertical Slice is a relatively new game that I actually do plan on making the video about, but it's Echoes of the End. And one of the big things about that I loved about it immediately when I saw the trailer, and I have played a bit of it so far, but what I loved about it is that it does have this kind of God of War essence, and when you look at it initially, and I will be doing a bit of a review and seeing with the game how it aligns with some of the Steam reviews and whatnot, how that comes out. So that's a little taste of what it will be. But yeah, Polo knows a little bit more about.
Yeah, can't wait.
My thoughts on that. But yeah, it's been an interesting experience so far, and I hope that the rest of it is as enjoyable or more.
Yeah, I can't wait. So obviously, I've been playing more Guild Wars 2. Unironically, though, I didn't play any. Okay, so I've been playing more Guild Wars 2. Yeah, I've been playing more Guild Wars 2, and I posted a video of me doing Living World Season 4, Chapter 4, the last fight of Chapter 4. And I recorded it, and it was great. I think it's a great video. I think the story is fantastic, and we're going to get into that a little bit later for the critical hit, which is the main topic of the show. But something happens in that story that hurt my feelings. So I turned it off right after I was done recording. I edited the video. I uploaded the video 2 days ago. And I didn't play. I didn't play today at all. I didn't play after that. After that happened, I turned it on, but I just couldn't play because of the next quest I have to do. So I actually took a couple day break from Guild Wars 2, and I miss it. But I did play something new as well, and it's called it's from Player Unknown, who created Player Unknown's Battleground, PUBG. He's basically the godfather of the battle royale shooter. He started it with Arma, created the basically Player Unknown's Battlegrounds like structure in Arma, and then it eventually spawned that off into what we got with PUBG now, and it became a huge thing, which created Fortnite, Warzone, etc., etc. But Player Unknown himself, the game designer, came out with a game called Prologue Go Wayback, which is he's been developing it with a small community in Discord, and he was going to put it out for early access, but he decided to just release it for free for testing on Steam. And I tested it out. It is a survival game, essentially, about a camper who is tasked with going back to different towers. But when I tell you it's an early iteration of what this game could be, it's interesting. It has some interesting things in survival games that I haven't seen, like the ability, and this might sound little, but I think it's extremely unique because I've never seen it in any other survival game, but the ability to put stuff under your arm. So when I first played it, the controls are very scarce on telling you what to do. I was picking up stuff with the F key, but the F key was putting it under your arm. So I'm holding it under my arm, and I'm like, okay, so now what do I do? I'm pressing every button you could possibly press, except for the button you need to set stuff down. Because I didn't realize that you had to press a separate button to set the stuff under your arm down. So I'm holding this stuff under my arm, like, what did I do? Is this a bug? What's going on? I was super confused. But I'm like, then I go into the menu and I look at all this, like the key binds, and I'm like, put under my arm. Why would I need to do that? And it's because we will eventually go to chop down trees and stuff like that. You got to carry the wood. To carry the wood, you got to be able to put it under your arm. Very finite backpack space. Very interesting. Like, you got to worry about cold, food, hunger, all that stuff. Again, you're tasked with going back to, I don't know, a tower or whatever. It's not really clear, but they give you a map of these circles, points of interest, and it's also procedurally generated. There he says there's hundreds and millions of generations that it can brew up, that every game that you play will be different. So, like, when you're going through this survival area. So it seems very interesting, but it is way too early to be considered anything. Because right now it's like the bones is there. It just ain't got no tissue, if you will.
Yeah, no fat, no muscles.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm interested though. I'm intrigued. And I was kind of like getting survival game fatigue. So if you were going to have a survival game, you would have to be unique. And I find this to be unique because there is a goal, right? You are tasked with going back to whatever that is. I don't know yet, obviously. So it's interesting. And I'm very much interested in what this has to offer, for sure.
That trailer definitely looks interesting to me.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, it does look bare bones. Like, there's not a lot that is necessarily demonstrating other than the layout, but it does, from what you were explaining, it does sound like it turns out to be a pretty interesting game.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's slide into a couple of news things that I find extremely interesting. Starting off with what you put, Till.
All right, so as we know, today is the 18th
of the time recording.
As we're recording, right? When this releases, it'll be on the 20th, but Gamescom actually starts in 12 hours and 41 minutes and 20 seconds from right now that we're speaking. Now, there are a lot of live events that they'll be hosting. Obviously, they have like cosplay tournaments. They have esports tournaments. They have or cosplay competition, esports tournaments. They also have live demos for games that we may want to see. And I always say this, but I love Gamescom keeping the live conventions alive. You know what I mean?
You're the only one.
the only one. But they are keeping it alive. And
I guess Tokyo Game Show still exists, huh?
Yeah. But when I say that, I'm not taking away from Tokyo Game Show. I'm just saying that there are so few now.
Yeah.
That it's just one of those things that I appreciate that they're still around.
For sure.
Well, now I know that they're going to do some, like, most likely some game announcements or anything like that. So on the 20th, when this episode actually releases, maybe we'll take a look at some of those games announced, and maybe one of us will release a video talking about those.
Yeah, sure. Now, the news topic I got is something I find to be extremely interesting. So the creator of God of War, its director, Cory Barlog, posted a tweet. The tweet says, "I'd like to share a little bit about our new project. I'm incredibly proud of what the team at Santa Monica Studio has been accomplishing. It's technically ambitious project, something that is not easy to achieve. This is a new IP we've been working on for years. And if all goes well, we're planning to show it to you later this year. I couldn't be more excited." Now, this has me excited because Cory Barlog and the Santa Monica Studio, obviously they gave us God of War. And what they did with God of War, I find to be the most impressive tech ever. And I'm going to be honest, in an adventure game, because it's the one camera shot take that they do in God of War. No jump cuts, no separate cut scenes or anything like that. It is the most impressive tech that I've seen. It's truly special. So for him to say, we have a new IP, which is, again, very rare in the video game industry nowadays, a new IP, and it is incredibly ambitious, coming from Cory Barlog, who did God of War, which was already extremely ambitious with the one-take camera. Now that has me excited. I have no idea what this could be. I have no thoughts, no predictions, nothing. But I'm extremely elated about this. And this article written up on Game Rant, the link will be in the description, obviously.
Yeah, labeling it technically ambitious is a wild thing. And I say that because what does that mean exactly? Is that going to be that the mechanics that are displayed within the game are new, fresh, that we haven't seen before, or something that is like kind of out there? Or is it pushing the boundaries on like every scale? You know what I mean?
We have to. I mean, they gave us the one-take camera shot in the video game, so.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that what is technically impressive to you? Yeah. And I don't mean to like me and Polo. I mean like what is technically impressive to Cory Barlog? What is he considering impressive? Because his scale is going to be higher than ours.
100%.
So for him to say that at the very least means that they probably working on Game of the Year already. Not
whatever year comes out is going to be Game of the Year.
And obviously that's like a joke.
Yeah, everybody, yeah, of course.
But don't get it twisted that obviously if something is that technically impressive,
yeah, they're very capable.
You know what I mean?
I'm elated though. I'm super excited about whatever that could be, because you got to think, right? With PlayStation, Santa Monica probably has an unlimited budget. I think Santa Monica and let's go with probably Naughty Dog are the only two Sony studios that probably have an unlimited budget when it comes to what they develop and the ability to just have the freedom to do whatever the hell they want because of the cachet that they brought into PlayStation, right? Naughty Dog with Last of Us and Uncharted, and Santa Monica with God of War. I just can't think of, when I think of like technically ambitious, what's technically ambitious even more so than the one camera shot in video games nowadays? What would you think could be possibly?
I mean, I've seen some things that were ambitious that didn't get pulled off well, like games where you're attacking with both the left and right hand. They have different buttons to attack in like an adventure type game, which like comboing that is one way. I think like then you have a game I thought was pretty cool is the mage game where you're speaking your spells into casting them. I think that kind of interaction could go absolutely crazy. But then let's even say you make it VR compatible. Not specifically that one, but like let's say you were to do something where it is. I don't know, bro. There's so many different avenues they could go, but a mechanic that is truly unique in the sense of like how it's getting portrayed in the game.
See, you're thinking mechanics.
I'm thinking mechanics, bro.
I'm thinking graphically. I'm thinking they're gonna do some photorealism where the cutscene is the game type shit that, like, technically ambitious. That would be technically ambitious to where you don't have cuts. I guess God of War is that essentially, where you don't have cutscenes because it's all that one take. The game is the cutscene essentially, but like even more impressive than that is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking graphically because when I think technically ambitious, I think of Last of Us Part 2. If you just watch the movement of a Last of Us Part 2 player who's been playing the game for 100 hours move with Ellie and the way they just be executing some of these executions is insane, because the way the movement, the animations of the movement, everything feels so visceral, so real, so uncanny that's the kind of stuff I'm expecting from a Sony Santa Monica. Mechanically, I didn't even consider what it could be mechanically.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking mechanics because like while that camera shot, I think you're viewing it as a graphic thing. I'm viewing it as a mechanic because you think about like when in the very beginning when you transition into a major fight, a pseudo boss fight, so to speak, you know what I mean? Like you're right, that camera doesn't shift from him at all. But to do that, and then you think about the way that the game has to load while that is happening, and you're never moving from actual to a loading screen or anything like that. You're never shifting away to give the game a time to try and process or back in that information. I think that is technically impressive, and that's essentially it's a mechanic in my opinion. But I do think that, for instance, there are the way that game operates. While on the surface level, I think it doesn't necessarily look like there's a lot of new things happening. I do think that God of War was a game that brought I'm not going to say it brought a lot of new things, but the way that it portrayed itself was refreshing because it initially was very gory. It did a lot of things that people didn't see in games quite like that and became extremely commercially successful. I only imagine that the mechanics that they introduce in the future when it comes to this game, like I said, I can't even think of the scale or scope that they'd have for it right now, that I feel like mechanically they have the team and the creativity to do something that would be game breaking.
Yeah, and it being a new IP, man, I don't fucking have a clue of what they could be working on. Normally, you can have a semblance of something a studio would do. Like I am, like I could see Naughty Dog with their new, I think it's called Intergalactic or something like that. Their space adventure game they're coming out. I could see Naughty Dog doing a game like that. That makes sense. Sony Santa Monica, God of War, and then I don't have any idea of what they will be developing new IP wise. Like a direction. I don't know what what ideas they can have. I'm truly, because I think Cory Barlog is only known for God of War, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let me look that up because I'm curious. Cory Barlog works. I don't know if he has anything else. His early career, Paradox Development, Backyard Wrestling. Yeah. Tomb Raider. Yeah. A bunch of stuff that.
But he was a cinematics director for Tomb Raider.
Right. At Crystal Dynamics too. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, not a lot. He doesn't have a lot. So it's interesting. I mean, he does have a lot, obviously. He's been in the industry for a very long time. But you know, as far as like unique titles go. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm super curious as to what that's going to be. All right, Tel. Move on, shall we?
Let's go, brother.
Go to new releases, right?
Yes. So this first one that is listed here, Sword of the Sea, comes out today, yesterday.
Yeah.
August 19th on PS5. Now, this is a game I've actually I had my eye on for a little bit because I was following the developer and just watching how the game was being made, and I thought it was beautiful just right off the bat.
It's from the creators of Journey and Abzu, which I think I have an entire playthrough of Abzu somewhere. It might be on the might check podcast channel, ironically, but yeah, it's interesting. It's here's a summary for it. It's in a world where the terrain flows in waves. Ride the hover sword to speed over shifting seas of sand. It controls like a snowboard, skateboard, and hoverboard all in one. Build momentum, achieve great speeds, catch big air as you explore skate park-like ruins lost in the tides of the necropolis of the gods. The hover sword embodies the feel of a snowboarding and skating games, but in an entirely new context of adventure. You are the Wraith, resurrected in a desolate world and tasked with restoring life to it as you explore submerged ruins and vibrant, varied cultures within. Surf throughout sinking tombs, mysterious shipwrecks, and petrified battlefields, and bring giant shoals of fish and creatures back in the process. But be aware, this land is also home to some massive leviathans that will stand in your way. Which is interesting because this game, games that they develop normally don't have an enemy per se.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to see what this looks like.
And right. And I say that because, like I said, looking at this game, they don't necessarily demonstrate or show an enemy straight up. But the way that it flows, I can imagine that however they deliver that context when we get there is going to be great. So I'll actually probably be getting this game too. Just because it is something that I would definitely want to play.
Journey is a game that's a lot of people's favorite game of all times. It caused a lot of people to cry. It was an emotionally triggering game back when it came out in PS4 and I think Vita at the time. But yeah, I enjoyed Journey. But this is going to sound crazy, but I really enjoyed Abzu as well. I think I'm one of the few that did, but Abzu was also an emotional game.
Well, yeah, sometimes you need those games though to have that heavy emotional context.
Yeah, it was good. All right, and the next game that comes out August 20th, the day that this episode goes live, is Voidbreaker. Voidbreaker comes out August 20th on PS5. It looks like it's an early access title, which I didn't know PS5 did that. So that's kind of cool. But Voidbreaker is here's the summary for it. You are trapped in an endless sequence by the all-seeing hostile AI. You are its prisoner, forced to fight, die, and repeat. The machines think you'll never escape. The system is designed to keep you here. Adrenaline-fueled roguelike FPS. Fight relentless machines driven by hostile AI. Escape an endless cycle. Craft infinite weapon variations with deep gun modding. Forge deadly synergies. Carve your way through the enviro destruction. Break the system. Break the sequence. Break free. It's funny. That's the tagline, and it's all in caps. It's kind of cool. I don't know what this is.
I was looking at it before we started, and the gameplay is very high speed. It's like it looked similar to a game that one of the extraction shooters that just was talked about recently.
What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcast.
Essentially, what I feel like we're looking at is I can't say it's an answer, but basically it looks like just is it solo player?
Yeah, it's single player.
It looks reminiscent it does look like reminiscent of like how Splitgate plays, but with a faster, more chaotic overall gameplay because of everything that is literally going on. You got things raining from the sky from throwing grenades and whatnot. Now, I feel like what if you like Doom, you might love this.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, the gameplay looks very Doom-esque, very fast-paced, very Quake-like. Again, this is going to go on what we're going to talk about a little bit later. But every roguelike that I see, it reminds me of Malik, because Malik has an infatuation with these game styles. Malik is a buddy of ours that we game with. He loves roguelike, and I think that's all he's been playing recently. So he might have interest in this, but it does look interesting though. It looks very pretty. I like the art style of it. Kind of looks. I know this is kind of taboo to say, but marathon-esque.
Yeah,
with this aesthetic.
Yeah. I think that's the game I was actually thinking about. That's what I was trying to get. It does look very marathon-esque. Now, what I'll also say is I'm going to actually maybe I'll add the demo and give it a go. But here I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think this is a game made for Tell. I cannot lie to you. I don't think this is a Telliano type game.
Same for me. And that leads into the main topic of the show, which is our critical hit section. The type of gamers we are. I don't think we've kind of touched on it a little bit at the beginning of the podcast, but I think we should go into details, kind of like how we go on our anime podcast about the kind of anime watchers we are, how we talk about the most important thing to us being an anime is characters or, the world and, powers or whatever we talk about there. What type of gamers we are, because those kind of things correlate, right? Like you play Pokemon way different than I play Pokemon. I play MMOs. Well, you don't really play MMOs, but I'm sure if you did, we would play them completely different. You know what I mean? So let's kind of discuss the type of gamers we are, our favorite genres, and the reasons why we play the way we do. So starting off with, what would you say the type of gamer you are, Tell?
If I had to say my preferred game type, it's probably always going to be turn-based combat. And I know, but it really is just that's my thing. I like turn-based combat. I like time to think about how it's going to play out. Like it just really is my game type. Now, there are other games I do like that are contrary to that. And a lot of that will end up being things like I said, Kingdom Hearts, games with that kind of open world exploration. And then I do like some shooters. I don't like a lot of shooters anymore. I used to just play whatever shooter you put in front of me.
Yep.
But now I have refined my taste on shooters to where they're either extremely competitive or extremely free. And by extremely free, I mean like you just have a lot of versatility in terms of how you play.
Mm-hmm. I would never forget the time when you spent in one particular game, and that's Call of Duty World at War. I think that was the last time that we've got so heavily invested in shooters together as like a duo. It just, like, we went fucking extreme prestige in that thing. Like it was just so deep for us.
Now, I agree, right? We went hard on Call of Duty World at War. I think we did for quite a few Call of Duties, but
World at War was the hardest for sure.
I think that was the last time we went that hard. But I will also say we were playing Grand Theft Auto Team Deathmatch online, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
And yo, hear me out. Why was that fun? But that was something that we did.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Transitioning, like that was kind of like where it ended, was kind of around there.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it just I kind of reverted back to my games being more story oriented, and I think that's why I like my turn-based games. Mm-hmm. Because I tend to divest myself into that story.
Interesting. I'm gonna be honest, I never really saw you that way as a divestiture in story in the games, to be honest. I always thought you were more of the competitive side of things when it comes to turn-based games, i.e. Pokemon or or Pokemon like games like Battlers and some of the mobile games you play. So that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like Bravely Default. I think we've talked about this before. I absolutely love Bravely Default and Bravely Second, and I thought their stories were also amazing for what they were. And then even some of my like previous games I really liked were like Final Fantasy X. I thought it was a phenomenal game. I love those characters, and I remember getting it as a Blockbuster rental, and I didn't beat
Final Fantasy X. Am I tripping?
Yeah.
Okay.
10. I remember getting it as a Blockbuster rental. I didn't beat it, so then I went back and got it and played it all the way through.
Yeah, I that's crazy. I do like Final Fantasy X a lot. I actually got the remastered version on Steam. I had to. That's interesting. I like learning new stuff like that. I am okay. I guess the closest thing you can call me to, you can say to me, I would say is I'm pretty. Is this going to make sense? I'm pretty empathic when it comes to my games. I get so heavily invested in the stories, regardless of what it is. My favorite game genre is MMO. Like I love a good MMO feeling. I love getting into a world with a bunch of people, but I play MMOs very different than most people. And that's enjoy the story. I sit back and I play the story. I read the dialogue if I have to, like whatever the case may be when it comes to the story part of a game, unless it's absolutely atrociously terrible, with respect, Black Desert Online. But I am very deep into stories of games, and my favorite MMO was Final Fantasy 14. I say was because Guild Wars 2 takes the place. Now, mind you, I have thousands and thousands of hours in Final Fantasy 14, but the time I'm spending in Guild Wars 2 is quickly surpassing that because of the story. The story, the characters, the emotion involved. Like I get so emotionally invested into it that I haven't played Guild Wars 2 for 2 days because of something that happened in the story that made me so upset, so sad. And I talked about this in the video the most recent video. Well, I can't say most recent because it might be not most recent by the time you're hearing this, but the video where I play I titled it With Respect, Polo Plays Guild Wars 2, and it's me playing that final boss fight in that chapter. And I mentioned that it had a monologue, until I'm gonna have you look up this monologue probably later. This whole scene, it's I think it's Joko's last monologue or something like that. You can look it up on YouTube for me. I would love that after the show probably. But this fucking monologue was brilliant. I'm talking like Kira level Death Note monologue, or like it's silly. It's
Mamoru Uchiha.
Yeah, Mamoru Uchiha monologue. It's deep, it's silly, it's funny, and then something happens at the end of that monologue that have you like, oh, like my jaw was to the floor watching this monologue because it was that intense. But that's the type of, like, I get so invested that I could cry even at an MMO story, and not cry like boo-hoo cry, but shed a little thug tear, or eyes get watered or choked up at a scene or something that happens in the game if it's a good story. I get so invested. Claire Obscure 33 is one of my top favorite games because I'm invested in the story. Even stories that are traditionally not considered great, like Mirror's Edge. It's my favorite game of all time. I'm invested in, It's not a great story. I will be the first to admit that. But I'm still so invested in the faith when it came to I did like Catalyst, but Mirror's Edge 1 was a better story in my opinion. But yeah, that's just the type of gamer we are. And the reason why I play that way is because how can I say this? I don't really have an expressive self. Like I'm not really expressive. And the way I express myself is through being enthralled or putting myself in video games story. So like when I'm playing Mass Effect, I'm playing as Polo. It's me, and I'm putting myself as that character. I'm Master Shep. I'm Shepard, or I'm my main character in Guild Wars 2, or I'm even fucking the main character in Ghost of Tsushima or Cyberpunk or whatever the case may be. Like that is my outlet for just like becoming emotional or something like that. Because outside of that, I am. Some would probably consider me to be rather emotionless, and mean and whatever else. But I don't know. That's the way I play like that. I think it's the perfect outlet for me to just vent emotionally. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
It makes perfect sense to me. And like the reason I play the way I do, right? And I know we've had this talk before. Like earlier I said I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. Mm-hmm. And part of me being a huge Kingdom Hearts fan is because, and I'll be 100% honest with you, majority of the games I played, like especially if I played them solo, you'll see that there's a huge like friend orientation where those friends are basically like family. And I say that because that's kind of the kind of person I am. I have no real siblings, so like I always say this: the brothers I made are like the friends I made, and I don't have a ton of people that I feel like have met that criteria to where I call them like my brother legitimately, right? And when I play games like Kingdom Hearts, especially when I was younger, I was so involved in that storyline. I was so involved and invested in those friendships because that's how involved and invested I would be in like my friendships at that time. Like all of my friends at that time were like diehard friends. You know what I mean? Like I probably had a handful of friends, but any of those friends knew that, hey, we got trouble, we're in trouble together. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how some of these games played out for me. Even when it comes down to like Pokemon, like I said, I was so, and also I will say this, games that have a community that is super interested or invested in trying to find and understand the lore, that just gets me, because I'm telling you, the Pokemon community, I am a person who I've been so involved in like that lore in itself that, like I said, I think I told you this before, I could forget more about Pokemon than some people may ever know. But it's a lot of it is from research from books and then cross-examining information, finding out that the Pokemon creators said that every time somebody buys a Pokemon game, they consider it like a whole new world. So every person who plays a Pokemon game is considered their own Pokemon dimension, and it's supposed to be considered canon to however, right? Which I think is cool, but it's also like the other things that the Pokemon company never made, like, or they never released, and all those things. I love looking at that kind of stuff. Even like I said with Kingdom Hearts, I look at the things that Square Enix never released for these games because there's still files for the information, and that just gets me more involved in the story that I currently love and play.
Yeah, I respect that for sure. I am like that right now with Guild Wars when it comes to the lore, because there are books. There's Guild Wars 1. There's so much that I find captivating, and shout out to, again, the Guild Wars 2 community, because there were people like explaining some of the lore to me in like the comments, especially in the one where the Polo plays one. There was even stuff I didn't notice until it was mentioned in the comments section. That's like, hey, did you notice Balthazar was shown, and Balthazar is one of the human gods in Guild Wars 2, was shown when I can't think of his name right, Toric or something like that, the big dragon I fought at the end. He was like, did you notice that Balthazar was at the top of his head when he blew his last breath? And I'm just like, that blew my mind because of the story in the world and the lore of it. It's so captivating, man. Sorry, this is going to turn to me gushing about Guild Wars 2 again, and I apologize. But what I love about it is that this is one of the first MMOs I played that, and RuneScape did this too. If you remember, you probably won't remember this, but RuneScape had very interesting quest lines in it, old school RuneScape that is. And in Guild Wars 2, what I love about it is that every character is the class, or can be a class. So NPCs can be the class of the world, right? So you have a class called Mesmer. There are people in the world in Guild Wars 2 that are Mesmers, and they reference that. They talk about, I can't stand, one of your guys who is I think he's a Guardian Ritlock. He says, I can't stand Mesmers and their trickery or whatever like that, because Mesmers is a class that's all about trickery. Or, at least they're better than Elementalists, somebody says, in reference to, Mesmers. These are NPCs having these conversations in the world. Stuff like that makes this so much more special, which makes me want to get involved in the world and in the lore. I love the fact that the player starts off in different parts of the world, right? You have the human world, you have the Savari world, which is like the plant people. You have the Char, which is like the cat wolf people, and you have humans, and you have Norns, right? They're all battling in different parts of the world. So if you pick one of these races, like if Tel picks a Norn, he's going to be starting in a different part of the world. If I pick a Savari, and there's wars going on within those different parts of the world, everybody referenced that within the main story, that Chars are fighting, I believe Chars are fighting humans, and then Norns are fighting Asura, and Savari is fighting Asura, and it's just the mobs you're fighting has context in the world of the story in the game. It's not just, and WoW, they tell you to go kill 10 rats, and you're just go killing 10 rats for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
not nonsense. Exactly.
There's references. There's meaning to it. There's reasons why bosses exist, and everything is like, it's a part of the world, which is rare to find in an MMO. And that is why this is probably becoming my favorite MMO, because of that, because there's no MMO other than this that does it. Because even in ESO, you're a hero, but there's 100,000 other heroes running around. Same with Final Fantasy 14. There's multiple heroes, but I think the way they do it is that sometimes, like when you do a raid or a dungeon, heroes are getting pulled from different dimensions to help you fight this boss. Kind of like what you said with Pokemon a little bit there. But that's special. But again, another one of my favorite genres is turn-based too. Like I love turn-based JRPGs. Persona is also one of my favorite series. Yakuza Like a Dragon is also one of my favorite series. Like games like that, and it's mostly because of the strategic elements to them. Yeah. And that, I love using my brain in that way.
And I gotta say, Polo is the one who put me on a Persona, because I had never played Persona before.
You started playing Shin Megami at one point. I'm like, I'm real impressed.
I started working with him, and he had a PSP.
Yeah, Vita.
With Persona on it. I was like, okay. And I started playing Persona ever since, and it's been good to me. I'm not gonna lie. It actually, I love the combat system, but yeah, turn-based has always been a thing for me. Like I remember as far back as being like, what was it? Blue Dragon was a game I played as well.
360.
I mean, Final Fantasy 7, obviously.
Yeah.
I even played other ones that were technically not released in the US. But there is. And I find it funny that you didn't know I was like always hugely like invested in some of these stories.
Story wise, I knew you were the strategy part of it. I knew, of course, Tel will be into that. He's
yeah. But like I remember, I just remember being so invested in these stories, bro. And it's crazy that like I even, and hear me out, I like games like even like Twisted Metal, like the very first Twisted Metal, bro. I was so invested in that story, and this is gonna sound crazy, like I knew, yeah, but like the individual stories, right? Yeah. Like why Calypso was reversing and redoing everybody's, and well, just it's a 30-year-old game at this point, but why Calypso was granting wishes and actually messing up everyone's lives and then having them restart all over. Yeah, like. It was just such an interesting thing, and I was.
They were bad though. They were very, very.
Yeah, not all the stories were good. But I think about like Axel, who got chained to his vehicle, because his wife was like cheating on him or something, and it's like,
it was silly. It was silly. It was a lot of that.
Oh my god, bro! But it's just and it's the small things like that I used to just fall in love with. I would fall in love with certain stories. But there are also some other stories that I just thought were significantly better, and I fell in love with as well. And it's just a lot of that in games, and a lot of games I'm going to put story first. I think Polo thinks that because I just screenshot the words in my head and move on to the next sentence. I think he thinks I don't read it.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's just I don't. And I guess this is a comparison is a thief of joy, because I think about, and this is a me problem. I think about when I watch my friends play games. I don't see any emotional investment. And I don't know why I expect everybody to be like me, who's like so empathetic when it comes to the games like I am. I'm telling you, it is none of y'all are as, definitely not legal. Multi-purpose, I don't even think he knows what the story is in Guild Wars 2. I don't even think he's done a full chapter of a story yet. Like it's just, and I'm like, I get blown back by that, right? Like, and again, I don't see you play many story games. You know what I mean?
I'm not judging Polo, but hear me out. Hear me out when I say this. I have seen Polo see something emotional and not budge at all.
What you mean? Reference to?
Like play a game. I've seen you play games that had like emotional moments in it or anything like that, and you just like.
No, that's cap. I don't think there's ever been a game where I didn't.
And maybe not a game. Maybe I've seen you not react to like anime or something. But I remember watching you on your face
on stream,
like on screen. Something happened, and it was like. No, not on screen. I mean, in person. Goodness gracious. So in person.
What did I stream that I did not react to? Because everything I play, I'm emotionally invested in on stream, specifically.
Yeah, on stream that's different. Not on stream. I'm talking about in person. I've seen your face.
What it is? I'm curious.
I can't remember it, bro. We were young. We were younger, but it's like, yeah. I've seen you, and I'm pretty sure it was like what was that RoboCube game? I've seen things.
That was.
I will also say this. I will also say this. Hear me out. I have seen him emotionally react because he did react emotionally to Pikmin.
Oh my god, you have to. It's so
which was funny.
Sad.
Which was funny.
You think about it.
I wasn't expecting it at the time when he did that.
Because it ain't obvious, right? It's not an obvious story in Pikmin, but when it happens, bro, it's like, damn, man. This little damn.
So no. I will give you both sides of that coin. That is one I remember exactly you acting emotionally. Dude, I was like, goodness gracious. I'm
telling you, I'm so empathetic when it comes to video games that it's kind of crazy the juxtaposition between me and just life, right? Like I would cut somebody out in a heartbeat or not give a fuck about anybody in a heartbeat in real life. But when it comes to a character in a video game, like Timey right now, they mentioned something with Timey and I'm distraught. I don't want to go to Guild Wars 2 because I don't want to advance the story to find out what happens. Like, right? Like and the point that I'm in right now in Guild Wars 2 is I have to prep a body of somebody we lost. And I don't want to do that, man. You know?
Yeah. Got to see it through, my boy.
It's so hard. And I love Guild Wars. Like I'm loving Guild Wars 2. I haven't progressed at all because of that reason for 2 days for the first time in 4 weeks. Oh, it hurts. But I think I'm gonna probably record that video of that prep. I'm gonna save that for Game Over. But yeah. What else is your favorite type of games? I guess we covered it all.
And this, I guess, this doesn't really count as a genre, but I guess open world adventure games, and I do like survival games as well. But I say open world adventure games. What I really mean is Sonic the Hedgehog. And I mean like Sonic Adventure, because while I love all the other Sonic games,
that's gameplay first.
Sonic Adventure and Sonic Infinite were great, but I will also here's the thing is that like I said, a lot of it is still story, but that's because I used to read Sonic the Hedgehog comics. I'm not saying that the Sonic the Hedgehog games have like this lore rich information and stuff like that. But the comic books tell Sonic Adventure 2 way better than Sonic Adventure 2 tells it. You know what I mean? Which is wild, but it's like I didn't think it was easy to do because you have an actual live motion attempt here with voice acting, while the voice acting was trash. With respect. I love that game, but it was like, I love games where there is a sense of like open world platforming. I'm not gonna say I'm a platformer, but I did play the old Tomb Raider game literally, I would say, to death, like front to back several times.
I used to like platformers too, like Banjo-Kazooie. I used to like a lot.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yep. My cousin Tierra got me hip to Crash Bandicoot. I'll never forget that. Now I can't do it anymore. Like, I just, for some reason, if it doesn't, and ironically, if it doesn't stimulate me emotionally, I don't think I care to play it, unless the gameplay is absurdly good. And I'm gonna go through my Steam. When I think about that, I don't like, Elden Ring is one of them that is just really the gameplay, because the story, I don't care too much to want to dive deeper into the base Elden Ring story, even though I hear it's great.
I'll even say that, and that's one of the things too, that I've just been playing Elden Ring.
No, I'm not Night Rain though.
No, I understand, but I've just been playing Elden Ring Night Rain, and I've scrolling through TikTok, bro. They drop so much lore on your head. I'm like, I kind of like this. I like having the information be divulged as I play the game. Yeah,
because they don't. I will say this: they don't do story obvious for intentional reasons. Like, there's people that do break down the Elden Ring lore that I do listen to, but it just to help me fall asleep. With respect, but yeah, I still gotta replay Kingdom Hearts again, because with respect, I am not a fan of Kingdom Hearts like Tell is, because of I believe it was about, maybe I want to say
20 years ago,
10 years ago or so, where I tried to play it again, and I'm just like, this shit is garbage. With respect, it was bad.
Kingdom Hearts 2?
No, Kingdom Hearts 1. It was just a bad time. I was just like, this story is terrible. These characters are terrible, and I wasn't having a good time, with respect. But
I understand that for Kingdom Hearts 1. I can get behind that. Kingdom Hearts 2 though, I feel like, I don't know.
More of the same. Let's see. I guess I'll find out, because I do got to play them eventually. So, since I own them now, thanks to my brother over there. All right. Yeah. No. I mean, I guess that's it. I do like stuff like, I do like space sims too, man.
That
is my shit. Like, I am one of the 3 people that liked Starfield.
That's not true. I just didn't play a ton of it, but mostly because I felt like I was behind and everybody else was playing. And I know it shouldn't matter for a single player game.
It should definitely.
But everybody was playing, and I'm like, ugh. And I'll also add that to my list. I do like sci-fi games in general, like Mass Effect, like Cyberpunk, like Starfield. Those kind of games, they fit my fancy.
Yeah.
But also Cyberpunk, Starfield, Mass Effect are all story, lore-based heavy games. You know what I mean?
And you finished one of them. Mass Effect.
Yeah.
You screw Starfield. You gotta finish Cyberpunk. You just had, like, that is, I think, an absolute King Teliano must. This podcast year. So before, when did we start this podcast? Beginning of August? End of July?
Middle
of July. So by the middle of July next year, you have to play and finish Cyberpunk. So we can do a full conversation on that game in its entirety. And I can talk to you. We can talk lore. We can talk everything about Cyberpunk 2077, because it's one of my favorite games of all times. I need you to, and when you play it, obviously you're going to see why, but like, you have to, like, that's a must, especially now that I know that you are actually, and again, this is not hyperbole. I really did not think you really care that much about story. So, like,
especially a game like that, I read every detail, bro.
When you, obviously I knew you did in the past when we were, around each other more often, you know what I'm saying? Almost every day like we was in the past. I knew then you were. I just thought nowadays, because of your life changes, you weren't as much. That's why that was my assumption, that because you family man, kids, time, it's hard for you to put that time in. So I'm like, maybe he doesn't care about story.
That's exactly it. And it's not that I don't care about the story. It's that I care so much about the story
that you want to give it the time.
And I said that all the time. It's like, that's why certain games I can't finish, because I do care so much about the story. I want to read every detail. Like, I'm the dude. I play the little recordings that they give you in the game, and I will listen to them. Like I said, Kingdom Hearts. I'm reading what Jiminy Cricket wrote down because I want to know what his perspective was. Like that's just me, bro. I'm going to catch every detail that you can possibly give me, and if I don't catch it, I'm gonna find some way to find out how to get it. And that's just me. And like I said, I understand why you may think that, but that is partially why, like, when I tell you I couldn't play the game because it required too much of my time. And it's because I know that internally I need every detail, bro. Yeah. I don't skip details. I know that, like I said, I know I move fast when I'm doing things, but I don't mean to make it look like I'm skipping details. I look at everything, and I just might not do it in the same fashion that others do.
Yeah. That's the critical hit, because you have to. Cyberpunk has to be on that list of things that has to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, because that conversation I think will be a great one now with this major detail, major revelation.
Yeah. That's why I like that game I shared with you, Dark Queen of Marthalo or whatever it was. It's such a good little story in there, and it's just a quick little story, but it's such a good little story. Yeah.
And this may sound, with respect, when it comes to bite-sized things like that, because they're bite-sized, I don't feel like I can get invested. So I care less about it. You know what I mean? With respect, obviously. And it's not to say that not shorter games can't grab me, but I am used to playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, or games I spend hundreds of hours in, like a Dragon, Yakuza's, all of those. That I spend hundreds of hours in, invested in all these characters and time, and just, I don't know. I just like I want something to sink my teeth in, not something that I can pick up and put down in 2 hours. I don't.
That crazy thing, the game ain't even that long. It's really like 30.
You see what I'm saying?
That's and if you just go for one ending. Now, if you want all 3 endings, then that's different.
Maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting stuff though. All right. Is that a wrap for that?
That is.
Game over.
What's happening with the game over?
So my plan is, and I said this in the description of the video I just posted out, I probably plan to do 2 more Guild Wars 2 videos, just 2 more for now until figure out what the community feels. I'm gonna do the funeral. I'm gonna record that episode, and then I'm gonna do an episode just bringing up comments that I got from the videos, the 3 videos that I put out, or will eventually put out, and reading and discussing those comments just. With more rambles of Guild Wars 2 praise, if you will, just kind of put a cap on it, if you will, unless the community calls for more, obviously. Again, I thank y'all so much for the support. But remember, this channel is a multi-purposed gaming channel, not just Guild Wars channel. Because I feel bad for getting all of these Guild Wars subscribers and fans. It's like, oh, you guys earned a sub. For this, you earned a sub for the Guild Wars 2 stuff. And I love the way this video is. You earned a sub. I feel bad because it's not going to be just Guild Wars. So,
and I would say to my brother, don't feel bad, because I don't think that it was just the Guild Wars that earned you the sub, because they can get Guild Wars almost anywhere on YouTube. I think it was the presentation, and it was the enthusiasm, and it was the heart that you exhibit talking about the game, because like I said, I don't play Guild Wars, and I wanted to play Guild Wars listening to your video. That's just my perspective.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I can be a little easier, huh?
Yeah, chill on yourself. You deserve it. Mine is what we talked about before, Echoes of the End. I will be producing a video talking about the game, giving a bit of a review and seeing, you know, just overall how good the game is, and you know, just giving that a good talking over.
I can't wait for that one. That one I'm very much looking forward to. All right. With respect, obviously. Well, that's a wrap for episode 6 of Respect Gaming. As always, respect the game, gamers, respect developers. Peace.
Peace.